Welcome back to the weekly news Roundup, and today we would like to talk about this fun and enjoyable topic: watching your food coming and going with new smart technology. Everything from the smart refrigerator to a brand new styled smart toilet. Yeah, watching all the food coming and going, folks. This is kind of frightening. I don't even know who or why we need this kind of stuff, but we got new stuff now that we got stuff like the old AI toilets. We talked about the ones before that will take pictures of your poop and send them up to somebody else's data cloud. And there's probably some weird fetish guy up there that just loves scat videos or something or whatever. He's just up there enjoying it. These new ones, the new toilets, I haven't seen these before. These ones are the pee analyzers. So now we have the pee analyzers too. But in addition to smart toothbrushes and things like that. But let's go ahead and chat a little bit about this. And then this is going to reintroduce another topic that we talked about very briefly in the news a few weeks ago as that came out, not quite a month ago, when a Consumer Reports came out saying that Instagram started to do some weird price tests, and we'll get into that because this is all kind of tied in. Of course, let's not forget that whole 2030 you'll owe nothing, you'll be happy, and then of course everything is a service. And this kind of introduces a couple different concepts, and we've talked about smart refrigerators in the past, but this one brings some extra things to the table that we haven't seen before. And that's really why I wanted to talk about this, because it allows us to go in a little bit deeper dive into the Consumer Reports and then reintroduce a topic we had about surge pricing and dynamic pricing a few weeks before that. So this is a new GE appliance, and Engadget, for whatever reason, does not allow my highlights to remain. So hopefully, I've highlighted these things already 4 or 5 times, so hopefully I can find them again pretty quick. But for whatever reason, Engadget will not allow my highlights to save. But this is a new GE smart refrigerator, automates grocery shopping with a barcode scanner in Instacart. So now your GE refrigerator, which is now a $5,000 internet-connected piece of trash here. Of course, it has to have an app. So that app, of course, is buying and selling and trading data all up on their servers. So now they can tell everything that you eat. How long before health insurance companies are buying access to this so they can spy on the stuff you're eating? And then the big question, are they going to go with are they going to think the old food pyramid is good, or are they going to be like losing their mind over the brand new food pyramid? If you guys didn't see that new food pyramid come out, everyone's losing their mind that now they wanted people to eat real food, and now we're fighting against that for some reason. But the company says it's trying to make the process of restocking your refrigerator as simple as possible by scanning a barcode. Great. So, we are so busy in our society, we can't even do something functional like basic grocery shopping. And this is something we should do. You go to the store, you kind of see what's on sale. You make some different decisions. And what this does is it streamlines further down the same products. Think of this. If you stop going to the grocery store and you're only scanning the things in your refrigerator, you will be streamlined into things. Unless, of course, they're starting to sell you ads to say, hey, we noticed you're buying this. Have you considered this brand instead? Because, some Chinese company has, bought a bunch of ads and data and is trying to sell you some new garbage. You guys see there's a protein powder, I think it's being sold up in Northern California, that has an AI-generated nutrition label. It is cake batter that they're selling as protein powder. Totally fake stuff. It's weird. But this is one of these smart fridges by GE, and this one has a built-in barcode scanner. So you can take the food out of your refrigerator and you can scan it if you're running low, and then it will just add that item directly to your shopping list. Now, this is the first principal problem. If you are eating food with barcodes on it, chances are that food is not healthy. You see, this is an orange. It doesn't have a barcode. This is a healthy device. If you go and you scan some orange juice, it's got a barcode. You go, ooh, that is not good for you. Generally speaking, if it has a barcode, it's probably not good for you. So this wouldn't even work for me because I eat very little barcoded food. But I do realize the regular normie people who are completely out of weight and eat poison all day long, this one might be a cool time-saving device for them. All right, so you can, you scan everything here. It will create your list. You can actually have that list on your phone. So if you do still want to go shopping, you have access to that list that you've scanned. Or you can just go ahead and process it through Instacart and have it delivered, eliminating the need to go shopping entirely. Now, of course, also inside it has some flush mount LED bars with cameras that can deliver real-time on-demand snapshots of whatever's in your refrigerator. Wonderful. So the fridge focus feature is supposed to prevent you from overbuying perishable produce you might already have by letting you see what perishables might go bad first. So there you go. We are letting AI ruin our brain cells to the point where we can't even remember what we have in our refrigerator anymore. But don't forget those perishable items generally don't have barcodes. How does that work? I now have a conflict in my refrigerator. They also say they have they have adjustable temperatures in the drawer. They have look at this, an 8-inch touchscreen display for viewing recipes or the current weather conditions, and microphones for accepting voice commands. They didn't mention anything about advertising, but if it's got a screen and smart features and internet connection, I promise you, they're going to give you ads soon. I mean, you'll walk down there and your refrigerator will start telling you about some voices, call you by your name, and you'll end up in a mental hospital for schizophrenia or something, But anyway, when you're dispensing water, the dispenser is supposed to be smart enough to fill the container with the exact right amount of water using the built-in sensors. All of these sensors and cameras and stuff, like, in addition to being a dystopian nightmare, it also sounds like a lot of things could break on this refrigerator. And I'm just not really keen on that. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about that? So the assistant will be available from GE Appliances and select retailers starting at $48.99 for a refrigerator that will probably go bad inside of about 9 months. Maybe you get a year and a half out of this. It might be pretty good. But there's what they're doing. Now, I wanted to focus in on the Instacart part here because Instacart was exactly what Consumer Reports caught doing some shifty things with pricing, as much as 23% different price difference per item. And we're talking about a study that was utilizing the same city, the same store, literally a group of people from a city got together in a room and was given a shopping list. They all were Instacart users. So they all go into their Instacart. They all order the exact same items from the exact same store. And they found that many items were up to 23% price differentials on that particular shopping list. So this person paid 120, this person 114, this person 122, this person 123, this person 122. Now you can see the actual range here from 114 to 123 is about $9 difference. Now this is about 140, so maybe about a $10 difference, just under a $10 difference in there. Now, this was part of a pricing test. Now, Instacart said, yeah, we were testing these pricing features and we're testing these out just to see, just like any store would do pricing tests, they were just able to do it on a smaller local area. Now, they did say that after this investigation, Instagram abandoned the trial. So it sounds maybe it was one of those things that they were doing because they could get away with it. Maybe. So we'll see what that if that happens to be. But anyway, onto the report before Instacart stepped in here. Excuse me. Many of them order grocery deliveries through Instacart, unknowingly part of a widespread AI-enabled experiment that prices identical products different from one customer to the next, sometimes by as much as 23%. Now, several other stores were involved in this, and algorithmic pricing is usually invisible to customers who typically see only prices and the fees they're offered. Now, there are two plausible explanations. Explanation number one is, as Instacart said, are they just doing random price differences to see basic price tests? Option B, they were actually utilizing information and profiles about people that says this person's more inclined to pay a little bit more, this person's more inclined to pay a little bit less. They deny that that's what they were doing, and there's evidence of that some people's carts had the cheaper price for some products and the more expensive price for other products. So it wasn't like across the board, this person paid more for each product, this person paid less for each product. So it does appear to be random. And was that based on any form of data about the customer? Instacart says it's not. But in this world with so much buying and selling and trading of data in very invisible and non-transparent ways, can we trust that companies wouldn't do that? And the reason this is significant is if you have a smart refrigerator that you are relying on to scanning your grocery stores and offering to do a sale through Instacart, and they have collecting all this data about you, is it possible that they may start charging you more money if you think the service is worth it and you will not overcome the barrier to go back? In other words, if they get you habitually into ordering through their device, you are now considered a captive customer. It might be a higher barrier of entry for you to go back to the grocery store once having abandoned that habit. Is that something that they are going to start doing? Now, that is the type of thing that companies tend to do until they get caught. But for right now, Instacart is saying they're not doing that. So we don't have evidence one way or the other. I'm saying it is distinctly possible and it is within the realm of what companies usually do. So we have to be cautious about that type of stuff. They did say it only affected small portion of retail partners and will have a limited impact on customer pocketbooks and are similar to well-established in-store pricing practices and charging different amounts to different customers. So the same product is not illegal or new. U.S. consumers have grown accustomed to paying different prices for the same airline seats, event tickets, hotel rooms. Of course, that gets into what would generally be called surge pricing. So that is where, now we're going to configure and we're going to disagree to all. There you go. So in this one here, bad news for shoppers. Consumer advocates warn that digital pricing labels could result in surge pricing. So surge pricing is akin to, a big snowstorm is coming. Raise the prices and everything while everybody's running into the store to get last minute supplies before the storm comes. Some cases that could be price gouging. Other cases that could be legitimate, perfectly legal price surging. There's a higher demand for products right at this moment. Therefore, we're going to raise the prices. Louis Rossmann had talked about that several times. There was a bodega downtown New York City, and he's in there, and they have a digital screen with the prices, and then there's lower prices, and then he's in there, and all of a sudden the screens change and the prices like tripled. And that just happened to be peak lunchtime for tourists. And so these bodegas were just saying, hey, these are tourists. They're coming to town. They have a reputation to hold that New York City is expensive. They'll pay whatever prices we want. It's kind of like not too long ago, about a month or so ago, there is a bar that is open only from only like 3 to 6 months in the year, only from Saturday and Sunday from high noon to 6 p.m. It's called the Desert Oasis Bar. And you jump on this road south of Lake Havasu City, and you drive out in the middle of the desert where there's absolutely nothing for 5 miles. And out there is this amazing little desert out there, which has live entertainment and more liquor bars than I want, especially for people driving down windy dirt roads. That's exciting. How many cars have moved down the embankment. But I go there because when else do you get a chance to go to a solar-powered bar in the middle of a desert? And I go out there and I'm like, okay, I'll buy a cheeseburger. The cheeseburger and fries was $32. Okay, now I'm going out there and I realize I knew going out there it's going to be expensive. Okay, I'll buy a $32 cheeseburger because, you know, the last time I did that was on our trip to the Hard Rock Cafe in 1999 in college. Okay, and so once every 3 decades, sure, I'll pay $30 for a cheeseburger. Okay, now I walked out of McDonald's 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago because their cheeseburgers were $12.99. $12.99 for a McDonald's cheeseburger. Someone's smoking something in the back there, I'll tell you what. But all this relates to surge pricing in that if there's digital price tags, the prices on items can be changed rapidly. And that's what Amazon was getting called out for. Albertsons put these in. And so the problem with surge pricing is they could go in. So if it's a super hot day, they might raise prices instantly on all ice cream items, cold drinks, and things like that. You'd go in, it's hot, you want something cold, you might be willing to pay more versus the blizzard's coming. So yeah, the ice cream's not going to be particularly expensive. But who knows, maybe maybe you're grabbing milk for the week because of the blizzard, so they could surge price that. Now, there is a separate thing called surveillance pricing. And this is the thing that we're starting to see, and we're starting to get some discussions on, and surveillance pricing is setting prices based on what they know about the customer. So if all of their data goes in and they say, hey, we happen to know this particular customer will be willing to pay more information or more money for this product because of all the information we have about them, surveillance pricing allows them to charge more on a per use basis. And so the challenge we have with grocery stores is it would be near impossible. I think we might have the technology, but I'd say it's pushing it to have in-person surveillance pricing. I don't think we have that right now, but we're getting close with the fact that some of these grocery stores are saying, hey, if you shop on our app, it's super easy, and you come in and you bring your pricing gun and you just go in with your cart and you just price things with the gun as you go out, and you just push the button and it pays with the app. It's super convenient and it's no contact and all this kind of stuff, and you just return that little thingy there to the wall on the way out. They could introduce surveillance pricing with that type of tool, so long as they take the price tags off of the products in the store. That would be a bigger barrier. I think if stores started removing all price tags from all products in the store, they would have a whole lot of pushback right now. But if they can transition more and more people to using things like the GE smart refrigerator, and they can use that particular item to get more and more and more people used to shopping with apps, they push the refrigerator, they push the individual service, they're pushing the grocery pickup where you're placing the order online. Understand that. If you're placing that order online, you are susceptible to surveillance pricing. You might be going into that app and you might be paying more for individual products. In fact, DoorDash, Uber Eats, these do this. If you go to that McDonald's, that stupid cheeseburger's $12.99 because somebody over there is smoking something. But if you go onto the app, that same cheeseburger is probably $15.99 because you're willing to pay for it on the app up front. And that would be an example of surveillance pricing. And so the question is, are they going to charge me $15? Maybe they'll charge you $15 because you're addicted to Uber Eats. And they might only charge me $9 because I think it's stupid to buy your cheeseburger on your app anyway. And so, whatever that case happens to be. But the introduction of these digital price tags has caused many people to suggest that it's open to surveillance and or surge pricing based on this. But there's still a little bit of discussion back and forth. I think some people are still confusing the terms because I don't see surveillance pricing happening in a physical retail division right now. But Delta was involved in a surveillance pricing scheme where individual people for the same flight, same time, same order would be charged differently. And as far as surge, and maybe not individual surveillance pricing, but flock-based surveillance pricing, Staples was actually found guilty of that by the FTC by having higher prices in lower income neighborhoods than in higher income neighborhoods on the same price, same products. Now, of course, that tends to happen. Lower income neighborhoods, you tend to have more retail theft, and that means that prices would be set higher in those stores to account for shrinkage. And so you have that to consider as well. Now, if all this wasn't nonsense enough, we have now the brand new first time I've seen the instance of your smart pee detector. And so this is a great one you can hold over your teenagers to be like, hey, just so you know, every time you go wee in our toilet, we're going to be measuring you for drugs. There's an application here. All right, but the Vovo Smart Toilet 2026 Innovation Honoree by Consumer Technology Association was cited with benefits for elderly and people with disabilities. All right, so it comes with things like automatic lid opening and closing, auto flushing, and bidet functions. Ooh. All right, but it has built-in urine analysis sensors that track users' health and displaying the results on a wall-mounted monitor. Of course, all these results go up into an app where they can very easily collect that stuff and sell it to your insurance company. How wonderful. All right. And by the way, the toilet can send an automatic alert to family members if you don't use the toilet for 12 hours. So, it's got a profile of your children in there. If your child doesn't go to the bathroom for 12 hours, you get an alert about that. Now, of course, they're selling this as a feature. You can put this on your elderly parents' toilet at their house, and you will get a notification if they haven't used the bathroom in 12 hours. You might want to see if they have fallen and can't get up. So there is what that one is doing. So this is a company that has been making home urine tests for a while. They say the device will analyze urine for 8 wellness markers with what the company calls fully no-touch optical sensing. I don't want touch or optical sensors near the wee-wees, okay? I just don't. Call me crazy. I don't want cameras. I don't want touchiness when I'm doing my business. I don't know about y'all. All right. A fancy way of saying you won't have to pee on a strip, but please wash your hands afterward all the same. All right. So that is what their toilet's doing, but they also have a smart toothbrush. The smart toothbrush, the Y-brush, uses AI and gas sensors to detect volatile organic compounds associated with over 300 health conditions, including diabetes, liver disorders, gum disease, by smelling the user's breath with an AI tool called Smart Nose. Of course, it needs that app to connect to all this kind of stuff. Isn't that wonderful, folks? So there you have. You have a lot of brand new cool smart tech that can watch your food as it's coming and as it's going. What do y'all think about that?